Steve Weintraub Collider.
You can sync that up. I'm pretty sure it'll work.
What did you? Okay. How are you doing today, sir?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. Like everyone walking in the room before me, the movie. I'm sure they're saying the same thing I'm about to say. The movie is incredible. One of my favorites of the year. I can't believe what you pulled off with this.
Thank you.
Nowadays, we are in such a politically correct time where everyone is
Woke. I found out this new word they were using. Woke.
Oh, I wasn't going to use that word.
Is that what woke means?
Yeah, I don't want to say what it does or doesn't.
I think you've got to be woke to know how to use the word woke.
Yeah, I found
that's the sad thing about woke, is that you have to be woke to be woke, and I'm obviously not woke because I don't get woke.
I understand. I'm not engaging on this one at all. The thing about this is, though, you wrote a script that is, it's just everyone's politically correct nowadays, and I commend you for this material, taking on this material, and Fox Searchlight for making it. Was it tough to get the green light on this thing?
There was no real pitching process for this, so I didn't go to studios and sort of say, hey, this is my idea for a film. It's about this kid and growing up in World War II. It was, I realised really early on that it's a very hard film to pitch. And I'm coming from New Zealand, we're terrible at pitching. So I didn't really bother. And after talking to my friends and they said, what are you up to now and what are you writing? I said, well, I'm doing this thing, it's about this kid in World War II. And they were, I'm not interested. And so that kind of, that made me realise, oh, no one really wants to hear a pitch like this. So I'm going to write a script that's really good, and I'm going to let that be the pitch. So I wrote the screenplay, and I just sent that around. I said, I'm not going to come and talk to you about it. You just read the script, and if you like it, then we can talk. And then Searchlight read it, and they said, let's talk. And they said, and I had no intention of playing Hitler, and they said, we want to make the film, and we only really want to do it if you play Hitler. What's wrong with these people?
I part of the story, and I'm like, one of the things about this, though, is that I think it's more important than ever that every year there's something about World War II that gets made to shine a light on the atrocities that happened and what that was all about, because it seems more relevant than ever to be talking about this. Can you sort of talk about that aspect of shining a light on this dark period?
Well, I don't know if you're aware of this. There was a Guardian article that came out where they released the results of a survey which showed that 41% of Americans and 66% of American millennials had never heard of Auschwitz. So that was, to me, that's a really shocking stat. And you know, so when people go, oh, there's another, you know, why do we have to keep having these World War II movies? You know, why do we keep hearing about World War II? We get it. We obviously don't get it because stats like that exist, and this is 1 year ago. You know, people don't know the name of, you know, one of the most famous concentration camps, and what that means, and and the impact of that name. Then we do need to keep making these films, and we do need to keep this conversation going. And we can't get complacent and just keep making the same style, the same tonal style of film. It's drama, it's depressing, we have to, like, you know, everything's desaturated and browns and greys. And we could also, maybe, crazy idea, we could also make something that's colourful and bright and has humour in it and has like a real life to it, and mixes humour and drama and has an imaginary Hitler character in it. Just anything to keep people talking about it and to tell the story again and again in new and inventive ways.
Absolutely. What was it like? Did you know this was, when you sat down to write the script, because I think the script's incredible, did you know the tone early on of what you were trying to do, or did you sort of figure it out in the writing process?
I knew the tone really early on. I knew that I wasn't going to make a film that was just completely irreverent and just, you know, took the piss and didn't have anything really to say, or just made jokes. You know, I didn't want to make just a flat-out comedy about World War II, because why would you? And it's kind of inappropriate, you know, to brush over atrocities and the experiences of millions of people. So I wanted to do something that had heart and had meaning and had a message, and hopefully could enact some sort of change, could bring about some sort of change in anyone. And so that was really the key. It was like, you know, trying to do a film like that and trying to make a difference.
I think I did this when the last time we spoke. I'm always curious about the editing process because that's the final rewrite. When you stepped in the editing room with all your footage, what maybe made you super happy? What made you nervous? What were you feeling when you started editing?
With every single film I make, I'd say there's about 3 months in the edit where I think this is the last thing anyone should watch. And I feel like, why would anyone want to watch this? And it's really because you're oversaturated. You know, you've been living with the footage for so long, and you've reached this point of being numb to it, and you have to keep reminding yourself the audience has never seen this. The audience has never seen all the footage. They haven't seen all of the 22 takes of you trying to get this one thing right. They haven't seen any of that, and they don't care. They just want to see a good story. And that's how I kind of bolster myself and pick myself up. It's like, okay, yeah, got to keep working and make a story, and just concentrate on the story. But yeah, the editing process is the hardest. And in this particular film, there wasn't any particular one thing that I found really hard. It was more the tonal balance, just trying to get that right. So I test my films all the time with audiences, and I get feedback and say, "What do you think of this? Were you bored here? Were you overstimulated here? Was it too funny here? Was it too sad here?" And then just finding a balance and go, okay, well now, let's take the audience. They've had the deep, meaningful moments. It's been emotional. Now we can slowly pick them up with some lightness and get into a few jokes here, and then kind of ease them back into this bit here, and it's really like just sort of massaging the audience through the story and like figuring, asking them, "Are you okay? No, where do you want to go now? Okay, well let's go over here. I'll try and show you this." So that's essentially how I try and make a movie.
I have to stop there, and I'm just going to say, seriously, congrats on the movie. It's one of the year's best, and congrats on winning the Audience Award at Toronto.
Thanks, brother.